The tragedy in Tucson has prompted Colorado Senator Mark Udall to come up with an idea during the president's State of the Union address later this month.
He says instead of Democrats and Republicans sitting on opposite sides of the aisle as they usually do, they should sit together.
We sat down with Senator Udall for an exclusive interview where he talked about that proposal and his close ties to Representative Gabrielle Giffords. Senator Udall, thanks so much for joining us. Now, I understand that you have close ties with Congresswoman Gabby Giffords in Tucson, Arizona, who was severely injured in the shooting last week. Tell us about that, as well as what you're urging Congress to do at this year's State of the Union address.
Emily, it's been a tough week for all of us. I was born in Tucson at the same hospital Gabby Giffords was born at. Her family and my family's paths have intertwined through the years. She represents a part of the area in Arizona that my father, Mo Udall, represented when he was in the Congress. And she and I share an interest in common issue areas, clean energy, strong and smart national defense posture, aerospace. As many people now know, she's married to an astronaut. I served with her in the House. I campaigned with her this fall, spent the whole day with her. So this has hit me particularly hard. But above all, as you've heard and sensed, she's a talent, not as a legislator or public official, but as a human being. She's outgoing and energetic, and she makes time for everybody she meets. And if there was anybody who's works with both sides of the aisle and wants to solve problems, it's Gabby Giffords. So the idea that she would be the target of an assassin has really stunned a lot of us. But the point I think we should take from what happened, to move to your second question, is let's use this as an opportunity to lower the rhetoric level, to reduce the vitriol, to remember that we're Americans, and particularly those of us who are elected officials and leaders. We ought to seize the moment and solve some of the big problems facing the country. We can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. And to that end, I've proposed at the State of the Union, where we by custom sit on opposite sides of the House chamber, let's mix and mingle and sit there as Americans and listen to the President propose to us what he thinks we can do to strengthen our country. The idea's been well received. Some think it's a bit of a gimmick. I don't. I think many of us know that function follows form. In other words, if you present a face to the world and you organize yourself in a certain way, you often then work based on that vision that you present to the world. So I've had a nice reaction. Senator McCain has agreed to join me in this call. Senator Murkowski from Alaska, Senator Shaheen, Senator Wyden as well. And I think you'll see a different kind of State of the Union. Yeah, we'll cheer when we believe the President's right, and we might sit there when we respectfully disagree. But I think that image presented to the American public will be a way for us to heal and move forward after these terrible events in Arizona.
How do you feel that Congresswoman Giffords would feel about your plea?
Well, I think that's Gabby at her essence, and I'm not the most emotional person in the world. My wife sometimes wonders if there's anybody home. But this has been very emotional for me, and this would be the best way to keep faith with her, and at the same time send her and actually all the other families that have been affected by this the right kind of message. When she recovers, she's going to be horrified that one of her key staff members has been killed. I know her heart is just going to ache when she finds out a 9-year-old girl came to see her and was gunned down in those terrible moments there. And I thought the President last night put it right. Let's be as big as Christina Green was. Let's imagine the world that she imagined as a 9-year-old. And this is a powerful time for America. And so let's set aside who is at blame and whether the left wing or the right wing is over the top in their rhetoric. We know we've all been a bit over the top. Let's throttle it back. Let's recalibrate. Let's move forward.
Senator, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We have much more of our exclusive interview with Senator Mark Udall in next week's newscast. He'll talk about his agenda this year and why reducing our nation's debt is critical to our country's future, and his work to ensure that we continue to lead in areas like clean energy and aerospace.